Oil keeps industry running smoothly. Whether petroleum-based or derived from animal or vegetable matter, it's an essential ingredient in almost everything we do. As a chemical, it's the basis for thousands of everyday products. As a lubricant, it's versatile and durable. And as a fuel, it's one of the most efficient ways to store and transport energy. But oil can also be a serious hazard if it's handled carelessly. A spill of only 1 gallon of oil can contaminate 1,000,000 gallons of water. We're all too familiar with the oil spills that make the headlines. It's hard to escape tragic images of oil-soaked wildlife and ruined habitats. But every year there are spills that don't make the news. Some are safely contained, while others work their way into the ground and end up polluting lakes, rivers, and oceans. To keep waterways and drinking water supplies safe while assuring oil pollution prevention, facilities that handle oil comply with federal guidelines for spill prevention, control, and countermeasures, or SPCC. These guidelines require companies to have approved safeguards and procedures in place to prevent any discharge of oil into navigable waters or adjoining shorelines. In this program, you'll learn how SPCC requirements affect you and what you can do to make them work. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, created the SPCC rule in 1973 under the authority of the Clean Water Act. The purpose of the rule was to establish spill prevention procedures and methods for facilities that store or use oil near water and are not covered under the U.S. Department of Transportation. These facilities may be onshore or offshore and may be involved in almost any activity related to oil, including production, storage, distribution, or consumption. The rule has been updated many times since it was first created. All facilities subject to the rule, 40 CFR 112, are required to prepare spill prevention, control, and countermeasure plans, as well as to provide all workers involved in handling oil training. This training should include guidelines for equipment and procedures used in preventing, controlling, and cleaning up oil spills. Whether your facility produces, stores, distributes, or uses oil of any kind or in any form, it has several things in common with other companies subject to the rule. First, its location makes it likely for an oil leak or spill to get into a waterway, whether it's a river, a lake, or an ocean. Where oil is concerned, there's no such thing as a harmless spill. Even in small amounts, oil can form a sheen on water that blocks sunlight and vital gases, such as oxygen and carbon dioxide, from getting through. Larger quantities can harm wildlife in a variety of ways, from contaminating them directly to making it impossible for them to survive in their natural habitats. Second, the facility is a non-transportation related facility, including all equipment and trappings. And third, the facility may store oil in bulk and use it operationally. So to be subject to SPCC rules, a facility must store more than 42,000 gallons of oil in underground tanks, or more than 1,320 gallons of oil in above-ground containers. Remember that the chance of a spill increases with the size and number of containers. Every surface, every connection, every seam, and every valve is a potential source for a leak if it fails. Isolation and containment must be provided and maintained between oil storage and transfer operations to protect stormwater systems through design and procedure. Under SPCC, your employer uses 3 methods to keep oil out of the ground and water: prevention, control, and countermeasures. Prevention means reducing the risk that oil will escape from tanks, pipes, valves, or equipment meant to hold it. Spills may be caused by accidents during loading and unloading, accidents involving vehicles or equipment, mechanical failures, tank corrosion, and human error. Prevention methods include training and proper procedures, barriers to protect tanks and pipes from damage, safety devices on valves and pumps, as well as corrosion protection on metal tanks. Control means keeping spilled or discharged oil from getting into the ground or water, usually by containing it near the source of a spill. Any form of containment must be able to hold the largest amount of oil that could be spilled by a single tank. It must also be designed to contain the oil until the spill can be cleaned up. Some common types of containment for onshore facilities include dikes, berms, or retaining walls, curbs, culverts, gutters, or other drainage systems, diversion ponds, retention ponds, or materials designed to absorb oil. Offshore facilities must use curbing or drip pans, sumps, and collection systems. Countermeasures are procedures and equipment used to stop a spill or discharge once it occurs, to remove spill oil from containment areas and dispose of it safely. Under SPCC rules, your employer maintains a formal written spill prevention, control, and countermeasure plan certified by a professional engineer. The plan identifies potential spill locations, areas that may be affected by a spill, and measures for control and cleanup. The plan includes tank locations, the direction spilled oil would travel, and potential effects on nearby waterways. The plan must also spell out spill prevention measures, including some routine procedures for handling oil within the facility, control measures such as dikes, berms, and drainage, countermeasures including detection of spills, response, cleanup, and disposal of recovered materials. Your employer also keeps an emergency plan available in case of a spill. This plan includes emergency contact information and any information that a response team would need, such as the location of the facility and the type of oil stored there. Your employer must also report to the National Response Center if your facility has regulated oil and chemical spills. Reportable oil spills are spills that violate applicable water quality standards, cause a film or sheen on or discoloration of the water surface adjoining shorelines, or cause a sludge or emulsion deposit beneath the water surface or on the shoreline. Any spill prevention, control, and countermeasure plan also depends on you. It's essential for you to know how your facility's plan works and what part you play in its operation. You'll be trained in the specifics of your facility's SPCC plan and your role in it, but there are also some general guidelines to follow. Prevention is the best defense against oil spills. It's always easier to keep a spill from happening than to clean up afterwards. A complete spill prevention strategy requires three things: proper maintenance, safe work practices, and awareness of your surroundings. Proper maintenance is more than just a fresh coat of paint. It means knowing what can fail in the system, knowing how it can fail, and then not allowing it to fail. System failures can occur through normal wear and tear, improper maintenance, corrosion, and excessive conditions such as temperature or pressure. To avoid problems, apply these maintenance guidelines. Follow all inspection and preventive maintenance schedules to assure formal routine inspections of containment systems and hardware for damage and leaks. These may be set by your facility or by the equipment manufacturer. Note any gradual changes in equipment condition that could indicate aging or wear. If extreme weather conditions have put a strain on materials used in tanks and pipes, inspect the system more often. Gaskets can shrink and become brittle in cold weather, for example, causing them to leak or fail completely. Don't attempt repairs you're not trained and authorized to perform. A poor repair can sometimes be worse than none at all, since it creates a false sense of security. If you spot a problem, report it immediately to a supervisor and schedule it for repair by someone qualified for the job. When performing maintenance or repairs, follow all guidelines for safety and environmental protection. These include lockout, tagout, confined space entry requirements, respiratory protection, fall protection, and hot work permits. Don't forget to provide for containment of residual material not easily drained. An accident in these surroundings could trigger an oil leak or spill, making your problems even worse. Following management of change procedures and pre-startup safety review procedures also enhances overall process safety during repair and change operations. Safe work practices are not designed to just keep you from getting hurt. If you apply them consistently, you can help reduce or eliminate the risk of spills. Safe work practices can be as general as following the rules of the road when driving, or they may apply to a specific piece of equipment. In every case, they are there for a reason, and they're your best defense against spills. Here are some safe work practices you can use. When transferring oil, cover floors and storm drains to contain accidental spills. Perform oil and fuel transfers only in approved areas. These areas are designed to limit the damage caused by spills. Inspect all hoses and piping before using them for oil transfers. Don't transfer oil during bad weather. Any spills can be carried away more quickly if it's raining. When fueling or adding oil to vehicles or equipment, insert the filler nozzle all the way into the tank. Never leave the nozzle unattended. Use approved practices when handling oil drums or other oil containers. If you're repairing or maintaining oil-filled equipment, be sure all pressure in the system is relieved. Prepare to contain residual material that might be in the equipment and use only approved pads or containment areas to work on equipment. Spill prevention requires constant awareness of your surroundings. The sooner you spot a problem, the better your chance of avoiding or minimizing a spill. Wherever you are in your facility, you should know emergency telephone numbers and contact information for reporting spills and accidents. Keep an eye out for early signs of leakage from tanks or pipes. A new stain at a seam, joint, or valve can mean worse problems if it's not fixed. If you see a sheen on water in a ditch or any evidence of oil on the ground, report it immediately. When handling or transferring oil, be aware of the effects of a spill in that area. You can act more quickly and effectively if you plan ahead. Know the location of emergency cleanup materials and equipment, and know how to use them properly. Spill control is the immediate containment of spilled oil so it doesn't leak into the ground or water. Control methods range from pans located directly beneath oil-filled equipment, such as transformers or generators, to built-up dikes, curbs, or walls to hold the contents of a tank if it fails. Some containment methods include drainage ditches that lead to collection ponds where oil returns to the facility for appropriate disposal. Many containment methods are designed to work automatically, but that doesn't mean that they can be neglected or abused. Damage to containment area walls or basins can allow oil or oil-contaminated water to escape into the ground or waterway. Report containment area damage immediately. Because containment systems must hold the entire contents of an oil tank, it's important that they remain free of spilled oil or other materials that would cause them to overflow. If you see a containment area with water or oil in it, report it so it can be pumped out and kept ready for emergencies. During heavy rain, containment areas are monitored and drained frequently according to facility procedures. And remember that containment area drain valves should be locked or car sealed in the closed position to prevent leaks in a spill emergency. Oil spill countermeasures include stopping the leak or spill and cleaning up the spilled oil. If the spill is small enough, you can use materials on site, such as absorbent sand, to soak up the oil. The materials must be then disposed of properly to prevent further contamination. Larger spills may require a contractor to perform cleanup operations and ensure that no oil has leaked into the ground or water from the containment area. Don't try to perform countermeasures without proper training and authorization. You could make the problem worse by removing oil from the containment area and spilling it on the ground or in the water. If you see a spill, report it immediately and give as much information as possible to emergency personnel so they can prepare the right countermeasures. Your facility SPCC plan should be linked to the Facility Operations Emergency Response Notification System to assure immediate notification and response of emergency response personnel. The plan also activates your facility response plan as appropriate for response and government notifications. This also assures that a formal incident investigation is conducted and documented to assure root cause identification, corrective action, and prevention. If you have a role in your facility's oil spill countermeasures plan, make sure you know your part and familiarize yourself with the materials and equipment you'll be using. Oil spill prevention, control, and countermeasures are an important part of keeping our environment safe. The SPCC rule requires your employer to follow approved and effective guidelines to help achieve this goal. Familiarize yourself with your employer's SPCC plan. This includes locations of potential spills, the effects of those spills, containment methods, and countermeasures put in place. Do your part to help prevent spills. Keep equipment properly maintained. Use safe work practices, and be aware of your surroundings. Report problems or potential problems immediately to keep them from getting worse. Be careful when working around spill containment areas and equipment. Make sure they are free of rainwater, oil, or debris that could cause a spill to overflow. Know your role in your facility's countermeasures plan. Proper cleanup is the last line of defense in protecting the environment from oil spills. And it's not over when you leave your facility. Your community counts on you to be responsible not to dump waste motor oil and other hazardous materials in the storm drain or down your household drain. Dumping the wrong material in the drain affects municipal outfalls and sewage treatment facilities. The EPA's SPCC rule is one step toward controlling the dark side of oil. By doing your part to prevent, control, and clean up oil spills, you're helping to ensure a cleaner, safer world for generations to come.